Am I alive? Yes, no, maybe so. Okay. Yes, I am. Okay. Alright. Today we're going to be doing some cleanup bosses and shit. So for the first one, we're going to Hyde's Tower of Flame. I'm gonna summon Masterless Glencore because we got some shit to deal with. Is that Hyde Knight coming? Yeah, I see him over there. I don't think he's running over here though. But we're gonna go over here, this other way. And we got some stuff to deal with. We got a dragon to deal with. This is gonna be fun. It's pretty bad addition to this area. So that dragon is probably the worst design choice they decided to change with the Scholar of the First Sin edition of Dark Souls 2. Because it just breathes fire at you and it's terrible. So I'm literally just gonna snipe it with a crossbow. Yeah, that fire can hit you even if you're behind the wall. Yeah, this is bullshit. I don't know what they were thinking when they put this in the game. To try to hit its head. There we go. And you have to kill that dragon because this lever won't come up otherwise, and you need to pull this lever to get to the other part of the hide for the boss. But up here is the Cathedral Blue. And we have a boss in here. And if you played Dark Souls 1, this guy is very familiar. He's just Ornstein. He even does the butt slam attack. And I will consume that soul because I have no use for it. And then this area is literally, it's just a Covenant area. That's all this area is for.
Transient, you have obtained proof. You may call yourself. Be proud. Rejoice.
Yeah, this is just the Blue Sentinels. As well, just to get his gesture and shit.
You are no longer a mere that proud man. Well, then, listen, how proud. Do your work.
Right. Then we can open these chests on either side of him. And down here is just a bonfire for this cathedral. We're going to be abandoning this Covenant pretty shortly. Alright, next we're going to the Huntsman's Copse, Undead Luckaway. And normally this area would be filled with enemies called Torturers, but I cleared them out back when we did Huntsman's Copse. But what we're looking for is a boss. And be careful when crossing this damn bridge because you can fall through those ledges. But we're coming up here to the Undead Purgatory. There is a red phantom right there. Oh. Fucking hollow. Alright. May as well deal with this guy right now. He is wielding a great sword. But he's also pretty weak. And there is an item right there. Just a fire seed, nothing too noteworthy. Alright, and then for this boss, we're gonna put on a dark quartz ring, because it does dark damage. And this is just another Executioner's Chariot, which we fought in Dranglaic Castle. Not sure why it needs a cutscene, but this boss is a slightly different. We have to avoid it because it's actually on a chariot this time. And we have to detach the chariot. Yeah, and you'll have these fucking skeletons harassing you the whole time. And I'm gonna get hit. Just barely escaped that. Yeah, we gotta pull that lever. And it'll knock the chariot off and we can face the actual thing. Alright, and then up here is another covenant. This is the Brotherhood of Blood. I'm gonna ignore it because I have no use for it, but alright, now we're back here. We gotta go buy some from Gilligan. And we gotta buy the ladder miniature. Do I have enough souls for a level up? Yeah, I have enough for like one. Alright, and now we are going back to Shaded Woods, and we're going to take the middle path that we weren't able to get through. Alright, so this door we weren't able to go through earlier. When you walk up to it, it says produce the symbol of the king. That just means put on the king's ring. And then the door opens. And through here is Aldia's keep. Now you could farm a specific hex here called Affinity from the little kobold enemies, those little dogs. Not gonna do it now because I don't care. But we're going to equip the Ash Knuckle Ring because those guys can build Petrify on you. And Petrification is instant death, so... And they can also drop the Black Knight Great Axe for some reason. And in the shack, right here, Lucatiel.
Who are you? Oh. No, forgive me. I know you. Yes, of course. How goes your journey? I know not what you seek in this faraway land. I pray for your safety. Please take these.
Yeah, and we get her stuff.
Consider this thanks for keeping me sane. My name is Lucatiel. I beg of you remember my name, for I may not myself. My name is...
Hang on. What am I? Okay. So we have to be hollow for an upcoming interaction. So I'm gonna have to let those little shits kill me. But resting here will make Lucatiel disappear. And we just gotta let these little shits kill us because we have to be hollow for an upcoming interaction. And once we're up here, we'll be invaded. We're invaded by Azlatiel, which is Lucatiel's brother. Wow, look at that dragon skeleton. I don't think we're supposed to light that torch. But, so this is a little special something. We have an NPC here that is imprisoned over here. And we have to talk to him while we're hollow so we can initiate a quest line. So this is Royal Sorcerer Navlan, or Navlan, and he has a split personality. Talking to him while human will have him act frightened and wary of his actions, and when you talk to him as a hollow, he will reveal himself as a stone-cold killer who wants you to commit some murdering on his behalf and present proof of death to each of the NPCs that he wants you to kill. And this is required for the trophy list, but you don't actually have to kill anyone that he sends you after. You can do this entire quest line without killing anyone. So let's talk to him.
This contains my power. Naive investment of mine set a large devising new spells. The food drink brought many new forms of magic into the world. But instead, it created me. Mostly by chance, maybe a fine job, I must say. What he sought was strength, and so I decided to demonstrate. While my vessel slept, I'd find my mark and hunt him down. But my vessel did not improve, and so while I slept, he sailed the both of us away. Now I don't have anything against humans, but how is it that you go around defining good and evil? Now my lives and the gods gave me, how can that be so wrong? Some would say it was sort of murder in my behalf. If you go, I'll leave this place and live in the lands. Anywhere. I could never figure out what I'd say. What's your choice?
You have to say yes here.
Yes, I see. Very kind of you. I want you to kill a merchant named Gilligan. A grimy, foul man. He won't witness, I assure you. Yes, bring me a ladder miniature as proof.
And this is why we bought
Yes, you have such a long nickname.
This is why we bought the ladder miniature, so we can present it to Navlan as proof we killed Gilligan when we actually didn't kill Gilligan.
This is my thanks.
And he gives us a pretty good ring. Dispelling ring is resistance to magic, lightning, fire, and dark.
Let's discuss our next move.
And next he's going to tell us to kill Kale.
I want you to kill one. Your target will be Cain, the man who's blocking that map. Your life is trapped in there. You touched me like never. How can I be so rare specimen? He wore a strange helmet. Bring it back as proof.
And gotta say yes every time.
Perhaps this will slip my faith.
Alright, and that's all we can do for right now. So, whatever you do, you don't want to go down this hallway and pull that lever down there because it will release him. And you don't really want to murder on the loose. And there's a bunch of development messages here telling you to not fucking do it. And there's one right here. It says, don't you dare. Anyway, gonna go further into the keep. Alright, and then these things on the wall, these are the things from the Looking Glass Night fight, and these fuckers can break out. They're pretty easy to kill though. Just summon Luit to help us. We don't want to unpetrify that ogre. And up here is a big ass basilisk that we need to kill. I also think we're not supposed to light these torches. I don't remember why. We got a bunch of damn monsters in cages in here. Hey, bonfire. Also, what was that noise? Oh, Lewitt just broke some shit. Alright, now what we're gonna do is de-equip everything so we can't have anything corrode, so we can pick up these fucking items. What was the third one I had on? Oh yeah, the second dragon ring. Oh, there's an ogre right behind that door. Not sure why the Mimic Man is attacking us. Can't really do anything. What the? Where did that come from? Where did the fucking basilisk come from? I have no idea where the fucking basilisk came from. Of course he let the fucking other ogre out. There's another ogre behind those doors. Yep, fucking hell. Alright. I'll put on the dispelling ring. And out here is another boss. And this boss is the Guardian Dragon. Alright, I'm gonna consume that because I have no use for it. Dragon scale, there's an invisible enemy right here. And then we'll take this lift. Alright, and this next area is the Dragon area. A bunch of dragons. Oh, and look, the Emerald Herald.
Bearer of the curse, long have I awaited one such as you, one who might shatter the shackles of fate, one who can set me free. Bearer of the curse, it was my own manifestation that led you here. The ancient dragon has watched over the world for eons past. Take this.
And she gives us the Aged Feather, which is just a homeward bone, but infinite.
The dragon welcomes you.
And I'll put that into a belt slot. Alright, and then we can take this zip line. There's a bunch of side areas, but it's not really worth it to do all that shit. Then we can come across this bridge. If we take too long to cross it, a dragon will fucking tear it apart, so don't take your time. Make sure to cross it quickly. And here's the dragon shrine. And in here, boom, Aldia again, only much smaller this time. Alright, this area is pretty short. So the main gimmick of this area is these large enemies are called Drake Keepers, the smaller ones are Dragon Knights. And the Dragon Knights won't attack you so long as you don't try to run away from fighting the Drake Keepers and don't attack them. also don't use summon signs because that will also aggro the dragon knights. And through here, this chest. I have a third dragon ring, which is very good, and we can replace the second dragon ring with. We also got invaded by a dude. And he's at the top of this spiral staircase. And here we can collect the petrified egg. And then here is a massive staircase, and we have one last challenge. Is the Golden Dragon Knight. This one is hostile, and you have to fight him. I don't know if this one's hostile. I don't think any of them are hostile besides that one. Then coming through here, we come to the ancient dragon. And he gives us the Ashen Mist Heart, which is an item we need to beat the game. Now you can fight him as a boss. It's a really, really bad boss, but you can fight him. And I'm gonna do it because we need the five items to defeat Vendrick, to get his defense lowered, and it will and the ancient dragon does drop one. So it may seem mean to attack him, but we gotta do what we gotta do for the ending. Alright, so this boss is just... once he flies up into the air, you gotta run the fuck away because he's just gonna blast you with fire. And it coats a massive portion of the arena, and that's pretty much his only attack. Yeah, this boss fight is really bad. Yeah, he spams this attack, it's really fucking annoying. I'm trying to bait out the attack where you just freeze it in front of him. I'm sorry, Ancient Dragon. But yeah, from that we get a Soul of a Giant. That's the item we need to lower Vendrick's defenses. And there are 5 of them, and we need all 5 to make the fight as easy as possible. Now, last time I did that, it made the Dragon Knights mad. But they don't seem to be angry now. Are you guys angry? Okay, no, they're okay. Alright, well, we're gonna leave. Okay, so the petrified egg, that can be used to join a covenant. You go to Iron Keep, and you go to the merchant that was in there. I think his name was Magarold. And you can discover the covenant there. I'm not gonna be doing it because I don't care. But now with the Ashen Mist Heart, we can do some stuff. So the Ashen Mist Heart allows us to go into memories, giant memories. So we're gonna have to do that to get more souls of giants. Alright, so for the first one, I'm gonna go back all the way to the first boss. I'm gonna summon Luet for help here because I'm not sure why it's blocking off that fog door. Whatever. What we're here for is to go this way. There's some flame salamanders down here, and these things are a massive pain in the ass. Alright, so now we're going to start doing the memories of the giants. So the first one, you can go over here to this tree, or aka corpse of a giant, approach it. This is the memory of Amar.
What? You are not one of our son, whoever you are, whether you are guided. I am whoever just met and evil. Soon it is revenge for the king, the venerable lord. It is what has transformed himself. Long ago, it was them, the giants. I know all my father. The giants, they can't find it within themselves. Did you see him? That is not everything to tell. My blade may break those who knew it by the sun. Be gone with you. Go.
We can just run past all this shit. Why am I the one being targeted? only here for the soul of the giant. That's all we're here for. Yep, that's all we came here for, Soul of the Giant. And then we got to go talk to Benhart. He'll be over by the Pursuer's old arena. At least he should be over here. I don't remember exactly where he is. There he is.
Well, you meet again. What are you doing here? Who'd have thought we'd meet at a place like this? Fate just won't let us be apart. No. See, the old sword's coat has been enough. They say it is crafted, and I would betray. They said it, but I see you've taken a liking to it, and this is one sword power. If you still are dead, you will have to. Have a great day to you. Aye. Aye.
Alright, now we can go into this one. And this is a memory of Oro. Don't know why Benhart is here, but we'll talk to him.
See it, Trap. Just remember, my homeland is in this land. My homeland in this land.
Oh. I'm an idiot. I dropped down on the wrong thing. What's cool about that is that the Vendrick soldiers won't attack you because they're not hollow. Alright, then we gotta equip the King's Ring again to get in this door. And now we're on the other side of this big ass valley. Alright, the next memory is specifically for a boss fight. We have 2 summon signs, but we're going to summon Ben Hart to complete his quest. We do have to watch out for the fireballs that are being slung at us. Oh yeah, that happens too. That thing just instantly kills you. Yep. This is the boss we are waiting for, the Giant Lord. And this is actually the last giant. So the last giant is just... When we defeat this guy, he just falls below and becomes trapped, and then he's the last giant that we defeat in the beginning of the game. We get the Giant's Kinship and the Giant Lord's Soul. And here is the last soul of the giant. And we do have to go back to the Memory of Oro to get Ben Hart's equipment, because he'll give it to us after we did that boss. And we get all that shit. So, spoiler alert, his Moonlight Greatsword, that's not the real thing. It's just a fake. But you can get the true one on a subsequent New Game Plus playthrough. And then we also have to go back to the memory of Vamar to get the Drangleic Helm from Drummond. Now, we do have the Giant Lord's Soul. You can trade that to Strayed for Repel. I don't have a use for it, so I'm going to consume it. Alright, now we're going to have a quick pit stop in Brightstone Cove, Seldora. we came back here for this. And we're in Dragon Memories. And we're here only to get the Ancient Dragon Soul. Alright, and here's the other Belfry, secret area, Belfry Luna. Gonna ignore the Bell Guardian dude. I'm gonna pull that lever to make this gate open. And the next boss is really lazy, really bad. It's just a copy of the Bell Gargoyles, except worse, because there's too many fucking enemies. I'm gonna consume that because I don't need it. Right. That's all for this area. Crushed oysters, yep, we came here for that exact reason. And we'll invade her, and she admits to being a traitor. Alright, that's gonna do it for today. Next stream, we're gonna go through the DLC, all 3 of them. And then, what else besides the DLC do we have yet to do? We have the DLC, we gotta kill Vendrick. Yeah, DLC, Vendrick, then the end. Alright. So yeah, next time there will probably be like 2 more streams. Next stream will be dedicated to the DLC, and then the last one will be for the ending. Alright, so that's it for today. See ya.